popping, guys. What if Issei, Kiba, Gasper, and Saji were betrayed? Now, the only reason I can find a way of doing this one is simple as shit. In this version, they'd already served their purpose. And at this point, whenever Issei and them had heard this, basically hearing that they were now worthless, their power meant nothing. Their ability to protect their masters were nothing. They were considered nothing. As this is when Rias actually had wanted to give Issei a surprise, but this is when, surprisingly enough, all four of them were tied up to something that would drain their magic. They said, "What the hell, Rias?" They used a knockout gas that was only strong enough to knock them out for 24 hours. It was a Saturday. It's right after school time would have ended. They've been strapped all day. Issei, who's got by chance the most, Gasper with the most magic out of them, barely has anything left. Can't even use his sacred gear. Issei tries turning on Drake, but this is when they said it blocks out your sacred gear. This is when they said, "Now give it to us." As Rias took the red dragon gauntlet, as it flew to Issei, as it was stuck on Rias, as now it was on Rias's left arm, her saying, "No wonder you were so powerful, Issei. The red dragon did fuel you." As this is when Issei's arm doesn't look normal. It didn't look like a human arm, it was a dragon arm. Rias saying, "Oh, remember when you gave it up for me?" Kiba being pissed off for the first time, showing it, saying, "What the hell, Rias? This isn't funny. Let us down." "Oh, Kiba, you betrayer of a knight. You think you're worth anything?" Taking the sword birth gear and adding it to her own body. They're saying, "Oh." And by the way, pulling out the Holy Devil Sword, saying, "This is mine now." Rias is actually giving it to and surprisingly enough, giving it to not herself, but deciding to give it to actually, you know what? She wouldn't take these ones. Well, she would, but she wouldn't put them on herself. Looking over to Gasper, saying, "Oh, Gaspy, your time stop would have been so useful. If only you knew how to train it." As she took it from him, his eyes went clear as if he was blind completely. Oh. Issei's arm stopped working. Kiba couldn't wield his legs seemed to break. And Gasper went blind. This is when Saji sang, "Sona, don't you do this to me. I fought for you against a god to protect you. And this is what you do to repay me?" This is when Sona said, "Silence." As she took all of them, seeming to break his arms and his legs. "I forgot you had a Vitra type gear in every one of your limbs. If only you would have had one for your head. Then that wouldn't work any more than it already doesn't. Not like you have any brain cells anyway." As she slapped him in the face. Rias proceeded to slap all three of her members, saying, "Oh, but I think as a courtesy, we should at least let you meet your replacements." As this is when four beautiful women walk in, saying, "We're here." Issei recognizes these girls, though. Aika Kiryu, and the Kendo Club members. "What the hell are y'all doing here?" And then, finally, there was a girl that was all too familiar. It was terrifying to them seeing this girl. It was it was another girl, but like I'm not sure who would make it. I'm just gonna say it was like a girl who Kiba knew. Like not actually no, I'm gonna say it was one Saji knew, who was kinda someone he knew too well, saying, what is she doing here?" These all being women who have attacked them in their past. For Issei was a Kendo Club members. For Kiba, it was mere for Gasper really didn't have anyone here. So really, it was just three people that hated Issei, taking the three of their spots. Aika took Sword Birth. Actually, you know what? No. The leader of the Kendo Club took Sword Birth. Her second took the eyes. And then Aika said, "Oh, I guess this one goes to me," getting the boosted gear. The Vitra type gear is all going to this one random girl that Saji knew that Saji absolutely was hated by. First thing when she got the gear saying, "Oh, Saji, how pathetic," spitting right in his face. Saji looking at her with rage saying, "You'll pay for this! You'll all pay!" Issei roaring out, "You'll all pay," right about next to Saji, as Kiba then yells, "You damn witches! You'll pay for what you've done!" This is when Gasper said, "You took my eyes. I'll end you for this!" Hearing them all roar out in anger. This is when they said, "Oh, it's so good we did this on not on a school day." Well, if only you could. As this is when they were all hit in the guts with swords, stabbed by the wielder of Durandal. Actually, attacked by the people who wielded their weapons. The Dragon Slayer sword went to the one with Drake. Now, a dragon type gear can choose to leave its host, but really, a gear can choose to leave its host if it feels that the host is not worthy of it. But it has to know who is. It can't just bounce from user to user, since that will always just wind up hurting the gear. Doing it once would hurt the gear. And I'm not talking about like it being taken from the host and giving it to someone else. But I'm talking about like when someone who isn't the real wielder, like if the real wielder dies or something, or someone steals it from them, that won't really affect it. But if it's like if the gear chooses to leave its current host to go to someone else, then it really won't do anything to it, the host it had at the time, but it will make it where their gear stopped working. They couldn't activate it anymore, and whoever they choose to go to, they'd be kind of stuck with. This is when Issei said, "Damn it," as they were all basically bleeding out, and they were all teleported away to the dragon realm, hoping that some random dragon would kill them. This is when Tannen sees all four of them, saying, "What the hell? What has happened to you?" As this is when Tannen would actually hit them each, thinking, who could have done this? This is when he thinks there's something attacking them. Their gears are missing. As Tannen actually did something that he never usually would have done. He called Great Red. Great Red saying, "What is it, Tannen? What do you want?" Each Dragon King has a link where they can call a Dragon God, but noting if a Dragon God replies, it's a big deal. If the Dragon God wants to... And the Dragon God can basically demand anything from the Dragon King. This is when he states what he sees, asking to see their dreams to see what happened. Seeing them as they're dying, saying, "Let me see. They were betrayed." Great Red seeing it and actually showing Tannen having half a mind to go over to Rias and rip her throat out. Great Red having the same thought. This is when he stopped, saying, "No. It's not our job to do that. It's theirs. But they're dying and they don't even have their gears. They won't need them." This boy sold his arm to the dragon. This is when Great Red entered all four of their minds and linked them together, saying, "I'll offer you all one deal. If any of you refuse, that is on you. I will give you another chance at life. But, unlike your old master, I'll give you free reign. But, knowing if you do accept this, you won't be normal devils or humans anymore. You will be dragons. On the level of the Dragon Kings right when you're awakened." Still, issei saying, isn't that still isn't that still not strong enough? This is when he said, exactly, you'll need to train. I'll grant you each your toy. I'll turn you each into a dragon, but the choice of what your abilities will be are yours. Good luck. As they all said, I accept. Gasper's eyes turning into a crimson red, having a thirst for blood. As he said, blood. I need blood. The blood of those who have wronged me. Everyone being surprised that Gasper was actually sounding like this. Gasper shredding those clothes he was wearing into a gear, into clothes that looked more dragonic and manly. There were dragon scales. There was also dragon scales around their faces. Think of like the dragon drive from Fairy Tale. And they were all wearing dragon gear. They all kind of looked like half dragon humans, but issei was the only one who had like a dragon arm. And this is when Drake sang Issei Hayoto. Not Drake, I mean Great Red sang Issei Hayoto. You already were part dragon. Now you're more. You're 75% dragon. What's the other 25%? Devil. Saying the word devil. Saying, damn, what about them? Saying 50%, 50%, and 50%. Actually, you know what? 50%, 50%, and yeah, 50%. They were all 50%. They're all 50%. What's Gasper then? 25% devil, 25% vampire, and 50% dragon. Alright, how powerful do you think we can get? Well, there's no limit to your strength now. You could gain enough strength to rival the gods, or surpass them. We're Dragon King level, correct? Yes. Well, we have to get to training. This is when, after 2 weeks, Serzex asked what happened to issei. Rias making up some claim about he betrayed her, so she had to do the unthinkable and kill issei, and the gear flew to its new wielder, who by chance was a high school student. Great Red Knots, Serzex thinking, okay, what happened to Gasper and Kiba? This is when she said they chose to follow issei. And it was a hard-fought battle, but we were able to win. And they as well, their gears flew to someone in the school as they died. Some of their school members. Okay, asking what, and this is when, really, Serzex asked what happened to Saji on the team of Sona. Sona saying, oh, he betrayed me, along with the way issei did with his master in a 4-group attack. But I wound up being able to beat my own pawn, though, admittedly, it took my entire peerage and Rias' entire peerage to take all 4 of them on. Alright, well, I guess that's all. This is when Serzex would go back to his realm to, being the Demon King, saying, issei, what could have happened? There's no way you would just attack Rias. You cared about her more than everyone but me. What happened, issei? This is when 2 months go by. Tannen trains with issei, Saji, Kiba, and Gasper. They were all training together. This is when Great Red really would show up and say, come on. They all go to the Dimensional Gap and train there. When Ophis would appear saying, Great Red, you're dead. I want the Dimensional Gap back, as she would go to attack Great Red, and the entirety of the Chaos Brigade stood behind her. This is when issei was seen, and Tannen was there too. The Chaos Brigade saying, oh, is this all you have, Great Red? Were you trying to start your own team to combat us? This is when issei would look at them saying, do I need to take care of it, sir? Great Red laughing, saying, issei, You can handle everyone here, but Ophis, she will have to go against myself. But you and the boys can handle them. Tannen, yes, help the boys. Yes, sir. As they all fought in dragon form, actually making their attacks so much stronger, and in the end, they weren't even landing a scratch. The entirety of the Chaos Brigade didn't land a scratch on them, except for Ophis. Ophis is the only one who can even land a dent on any of them, and that's because she's the second strongest. Well, and issei in this point is actually the third strongest being in existence. After a mere month of training like a dragon, never stopping his training, 24 hours, sleeping for 8 hours, getting back up to train for 24 more hours, they do this for another 2 months. This is when Tannen would actually go to the demon territory, and he yelled, Surzex! Surzex answering saying, what is it, Tannen? Still kind of sad, after the death of issei, Kiba, and Gasper, because he actually cared about issei. Kiba was more of just a white knight, he didn't really know him that well, but he did know he would take care of his sister to the bitter end, so what's going on? And Gasper didn't seem like the rebellious type. This is when he said, oh, we found 4 boys who were on the brink of death about 3 months ago, and now they want to talk to the people who attacked them and damn near killed them. They would have killed them, and they actually stole the gears of the boys. Hearing this, Surzex said, what? Don't tell me. Was it, as he states the names? Yes, it was. Me and Great Red have been training them to get their revenge for the past 3 months. But summer break is just ending. I know. We want them all enrolled into Kuo. This will go through no one of the student council, only through you. This is when Surzex said, alright. This is when, surprisingly enough, because it was actually summer break when this happened. I'm going to say that now. As you hear, as the bell tolls, you see a boy who looks kinda like issei, but it's hard to tell it's even him. And Gasper, they don't even recognize him since he looks more masculine than ever. Like, he's got muscles that ripple. He's wearing the guy's uniform. And Kiba, he looks like himself, but he looks so rugged and everything. It's hard to tell it is him. This is when you see Saji. He doesn't even look anything like himself. He basically looks roided out. They all really do. They also have some angered-looking eyes. Their eyes kind of all turning into red. Okay, like pitch red. With slits in them. Though they do kind of hide it, making their eyes look normalish, but still red. Like the pupils and everything. This is when they all would kind of walk in, wearing their own variants of the uniform, but Gasper wearing a guy's one. The plain one, for guys, but still. He chose not to wear the, the shoulder, the kind of jacket part of it. And this is when they all had stated, welcome back to school, class. Oh, I see we have all of our students accounted for. This is when they look to issei's desk, and every one of the co-research club members were like, oh shit, he's here. I thought we killed him. Even Aika was thinking he was dead. This is when next you hear, oh, is something wrong, ladies? Said by the teacher saying, they all said, no, don't worry about it. At the end of class, they all grabbed issei and drug him back. They were about to drag him. He said, let go of me. They said, no, come with us. He said, alright. Sona actually saying, Rias, come on, let's get together. As it's after school, about 2 hours after school ended. When, surprisingly enough, all the guys gathered together in the gymnasium. When they let their powers drain a little bit of it, less than 1% of their strength. Far less. Like, the same amount Tannen used against the entirety of the co-research club. That's how much even one of them are using. And they're dividing it up into 4. and letting it show as if that's all their power. Thinking they've gotten strong over these past 3 months, but how are they not dead? This is when you see Kiba, who looks more monstrous than ever, saying, "Hello, remember us?" As it's almost terrifying to hear this. Ria's saying, "We killed you, how are you not dead? You did a shitty job at it, that's why. But you should still be dead, we took your gears." See, funny thing about that, it doesn't matter if you take someone's gear if they're given a revival. Wait, what? Who revived you? Oh, let us just show you. As the dragons would show, one pitch red dragon brown with brown horns on his head, one pitch golden dragon with blue piercing, with a few blue piercing like shell, with a few of his scales pitch blue, a yellow dragon that looks like it has blood red spots all over it, and a purple, black, and yellow dragon, all appearing in front of them. Though being more in the dragonish form, they weren't as big as normal dragons. Well, if they are dragons now, and this is the only size they have, there's no reason to worry, as this is when they all grew to full size. As they all instantly teleported to the demon realm, right in front of Sir Zex. Rias being the first one to yell, "Sir Zex, help, help, help! Brother!" Sona, because this was a meeting between the four Mao, her sister was there, yelling, "Leviathan, sister, help!" Leviathan, Sir Zex going to see what the problem was and who these four dragons were, yelling, "You four dragons, state your name and purpose here." Because they had never shown his dragon form to Sir Zex before they went to school. But Sir Zex kind of knew what was going on. This is when he said, "Rias, is that issei?" "Yes, it's also Kiba and Gasper. I thought you told me they betrayed you and you killed them and their gears went to someone else." "I did, but somehow they survived. They were revived by something." This is when issei would say, "No, we weren't just revived. We were rejuvenated. And we were trained by a god. The dragon god specifically, as giant red wings would appear above them, landing in being the scariest sight ever. 4 dragons barely smaller than Great Red, and Great Red himself towering over them by a head. And they all hear, "You fools dare attack them. You betray them, and you even attempt to frame them. Die." Hearing this, kind of terrifying them, saying, "No, no, no, Great Red's going to kill us." "I will not kill you. They will." Pointing right under him, as his arms were held up, pointing one finger down to each of them, saying, "The 4 you've betrayed are after you now. Goodbye, puny devils." This is when you hear, "Really?" 4 betrayed devils turned dragon. 1 vampiric, 1 already part dragon. This is when the 4 that have their gears saying, "Oh please, like you can even hold us, candle to us. We're stronger than you ever were in your gears." As they actually go to attack, the red gauntlet not even appearing on her hand. Her saying, "What the hell, Drake? What happened?" Him saying, "You're not my wielder. That boy is." As it would actually come out of Issei's arm, as the red dragon gauntlet would appear. Already in a dragonish, although Issei was in a kind of dragon force state, semi-human, semi-dragon, has the tail and scales, and his arms were kind of dragonic, they could tell there was the gear. Sword burst flew back to Kiba as his sword flew to his hand. "I am the wielder of this sword. No one else deserves to even touch it." As Gasper's eyes shined bright, as the person who took it, as his eyes completely went back to him, saying, "Oh, pathetic, you think you can handle the eyes to stop time? That's what I can do." Oh no, as this is when Sona actually looked at her piece, saying, "No, no, 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 no," as the gears all flew out of her body and right to Saji, saying, "This is my true wielder. Stay away from me." Them all trying to use their gears, as a piece of armor all appeared on them. It was like they each got one piece, like the beginner starter thing of their original gear, of those gears. They started thinking, yes, we got our gears, but why are they beginner stages? Is that what happened? Is this like a delayed reset? No. Those are all we gift you as we leave. Their mimic gear. Power, 0 granted. Ability, just pieces of metal. This is when they all attacked, just for them all to be ripped to shreds. The only one who even still stands is the perverted girl Aika Kiryu, as she was healed by Asya. Asya then sang, "Issei, how could you?" This is when Issei said, "How could you? I fought to get you revived. Hell, I fought to try to save your life. And this is how you repay me? Letting her kill me? Die!" As fire breath enveloped her, burning her to ashes and ashes. This is when you hear, "Sona, after all I've done, I fought a god to protect you, and this is how you've repaid me. Burn! Burn!" As she was burned to a crisp, as he ate Sona. As this is when Sona's sister sang, "I know she betrayed you, but you can't just kill my sister." As this is when Issei wound up actually ripping apart Rias and into thirds, where they all ate Rias. This is when, surprisingly enough, Betrayal appears, saying, "I won't let you destroy my daughter." Sir Zex sang, "How dare you eat my sister?" As they all all three of them flew forward to protect or avenge, even as Issei actually wound up ripping the head off of Akano for hitting him with a lightning bolt. As this is when Kiba had actually ripped a leg off and Gasper took the rest of her. Miralis used one time was able to be sent flying as the queen was eaten. The queen on Sona's side, basically, Sona's side all got eaten by Saji in a matter of seconds. This is when the Devil Kings would attack. All four, as well as Betrayal, would appear. Azazel would appear as well. And right by him was 4 gears, thrown as they were all dragon-type gears. All variants, well, not really, all similar to the gears they already wielded, but on different body parts. There was a chest plate given to Saji. There was a right gauntlet given to Issei. There was a armor set given, an armor creation set given to Kiba. And for Gasper, there was an armor set given to him as well. This is when you hear Longinus definitions. Protection forever. As there's 2 protective types. 3 protective types and 1 attack type. This is when Azazel said, "Hello, Betrayal. You have to admit your daughter did deserve it," as a light spear flew through Betrayal's chest. Betrayal then being consumed by Great Red. I will miss you, old friend, but you shouldn't have done that. You should never attack these 4. as they're like sons to me. Because Azazel was actually there as well with, Tannen and Great Red. He helped raise them from death. Like, yeah. As this is when you hear a loud laughing out, as this is when a holy angel attacked with all of them, just for Irina to be eaten by issei, who tore her upper torso and head clean off, just for her legs and lower torso to be divided amongst, Kiba and Gasper, as well as actually her other side. Actually, no, I'm gonna say the right side went to issei, the left torso side went to Saji, and the leg side and the bottom right went to Kiba, and the bottom left went to Gasper. As this is when Michael actually appeared above them, saying, "Holy smite!" As a lightning, as a light, as a ray of light hits all of them, as if nothing happened. They looked to Michael, and surprisingly enough, Michael saw that he was surrounded. He threw spear after spear after spear. Nothing. This is when he yelled, "Holy light, lance of truth," stabbing right into Issei's chest. As it basically bounced off of him like it was a toothpick, Issei ripped his skull off, ripped his head off, as they all had then devoured the holy. As this is when they said someone must take over his spot, or the world will go into chaos. Even if it was only the Bible faction. As Issei said, "Who wants to do it? If no one else volunteers, I will." This is when Issei said, "Fine, I'll take over." This is when Issei, who's only the second strongest dragon at this point, since he's right above Ophis in strength now, right beneath Great Red, is him and Great Red actually have their final fight, when even Issei went into full in Drake, and using that power was able to beat Great Red barely with one boost. This is when a second boost would occur and easily be able to defeat Great Red. He kept boosting and boosting and boosting, doubling his strength to the point where he could easily rip apart Great Red. Great Red even laid completely out, saying, "Good boy, you've won." Though he was just laid out, he wasn't killed. As Great Red 2 hours later would get up saying, "I'm alive. You didn't kill me, my boys. Thank you." As he goes back to the dimensional gap, while each of them take over different areas. They each divided everything to a fourth, even though they were all strong enough to keep up with Issei in terms of strength. Hell, in all honesty, any of them could have defeated Great Red, but none of them could defeat Issei quite as easy. As this is when you hear, "Alright, this fourth goes to you," pointing to Gasper. "This fourth goes to you," pointing to Saji. "This fourth goes to you, Kiba, and I'll take this fourth." Alright. What's up with that, guys? Alright, now, go, my team. Make your stand. As they all left. And that's the end. They all became basically the embodiment of destruction, ripping apart the entire world.